Let's make an award-winning Mai Tai with the strangest and most intense rum that I've ever had. It's the Holmes Key Grand Arome from Runion Island. So what makes this rum so different and so unique, and why did I even buy this? Well, like so many things, it all started with the Mai Tai. Most rums you find from French islands are made from sugarcane juice, your agricole styles of rum. But there are molasses-based rums as well. They're just difficult for us to find in the United States. And one of those molasses-based rums is the Grand Arome style from Runion Island. When Trader Vic was creating his own rum blends for the Mai Tai to replace that 17-year-old Wray and Nephew, he first went to the 15-year-old Wray and Nephew. Then he did a blend of that 15-year plus a dark Jamaican rum. This is what's referred to as the first adjusted formula. And next he went to a blend of 15-year and then Red Heart or Caruba, so a dark Jamaican rum, and a rum from Martinique. Now in the Smuggler's Cove book, Martin Cate theorizes that Vic was using a rum traditional from Martinique, which was made from molasses, not from sugarcane juice. This is from reading Trader Vic's words. In 1946, Trader Vic's Book of Food and Drink, Vic describes Martinique rums as coffee-colored, very similar to Jamaican rums, but in many cases have the dry, burned flavor of the Demerara. This flavor, however, is very faint. Side note is I'm kind of thinking in my mind, is that kind of what St. Lucian rums are? They're kind of their own thing, and they kind of remind me of that cross between Jamaican and Demerara, but that's another time. Anyways, this would mean that the second adjusted formula calls for molasses-based rum from Martinique, not a rum agricole, even though by the late 1950s, there were instances of Trader Vic's Mai Tais using an agricole, specifically St. James. Vic really appeared to love sugarcane juice rums. He calls for St. James and calls it one of the finest rums, and he has a real love for rum barbancourt as well. All of this, from kind of both sides of the camp here, is all just theory. And unless someone finds a notebook that has the exact bottle of that second adjusted formula, we'll never really know any of this for certain. That means if you want to use a French-style rum made from molasses in a Mai Tai, Holmes Key Grand Arome is one of the only options available, at least to those of us that live in the United States. But this is probably not too similar to that rum traditional. It's not coffee-colored. It does not taste of burnt sugar either. But this Grand Arome style of rum, not this exact one, is what Martin Cate worked with on the Denison Merchants Reserve rum. There is a lot more about Grand Arome that you can find out if you want to take a deeper dive on the Cocktail Wonk website. I'll include the link for that. It includes a lot of the specifics of how it's made, but mainly that it's high ester, big aroma, and a unique funkiness. So let's try it. I have had this before, but it's an experience to say the least. It's one of those rums, maybe the only rum, that you could be in another room 20 feet away and you open that bottle and you can smell it. The aroma, like I'm smelling it right now. The aroma is intense. I've had this on 3 occasions now, and I would say the first time interesting, not pleasant in maybe appreciating it, and over time I'm kind of appreciating it a little bit more. And I think part of it is once you're prepared for the aroma and once you're prepared for the taste, then when you open that bottle, it's not as much of a surprise. There's a peppery, briny, plasticky sweetness to it, and it's so strange. It's just so different than anything else you're ever gonna taste, and then part of that's because I think we just don't have access to this style of rum, so this is the only one, and there might be a couple more out now that you can find, but really one of the only options for a Grand Arome you're gonna come across. There's a peppery note, which is like, it's a combination. There's some of that black peppery, but also bell pepper kind of going on here. And, you know, it's just a strange industrialness to it. And if you follow rum reviews over time, you may have seen some people talking about some crazy stuff, and you're like, okay, I don't know what you're getting at. And I remember the first time I ever heard someone talk about the taste of Band-Aids, and just thinking that's so obscure, and someone's exaggerating. But this has a taste of Band-Aids. That it has a taste of the way Band-Aids smell. I don't know what actual Band-Aid tastes like, but this sort of rubberiness to it. It's almost like you can taste the texture of a Band-Aid. Now, there are two reasons that I really like this rum, and the first is the idea that these two things are somehow the same. They're both rum, and the difference between them is so vast. And if you look at any other spirit, you look at vodka, gin, whiskey, and you line them all up next to each other, and you try to pick up the differences between them, you'll find differences. But these two, crystal clear white rums, they're somehow related to each other in their origin and their makeup, but they are night and day difference. They're 1,000 times more different from each other than any whiskey, any gin, any vodka. And this is a fun bottle to just take a little pour, just like half-ounce pour, if people are tasting different rums and just showing them the vast array of rums and the different categories and the ground that really rum can make up, that is so unique to rum that you can't find in any other spirit. Now, one last thing about this is we're going to use this in a recipe that only uses half an ounce, but you could get by using this in a quarter of an ounce, in a bar spoon or a teaspoon. And that's something to remember as well, is that a lot of these super high ester rums, they are not historically designed for you to drink neat or in a 2-ounce pour inside a cocktail. These are designed to be things that are blended with other things. They're designed to be used in cooking, in perfumes, and this new age sort of mentality of like jumping into the highest ester rum you can find. I get it if you're into that, but it's kind of like people who are really into IPAs. At some point, you're just in it for the punishment, but it is pretty advanced. It is something you're going to have for a long time, and it's something that you don't need to use all in one sitting. You can use dashes of it here and there to make something that's pretty interesting, pretty compelling, and something that's just totally different that you can't achieve through other rums. So let's use this to make a Mai Tai, and it's an award-winning Mai Tai from Vince Polizzi, who is a member of the MakeAndDrink Patreon. And Vince's Mai Tai took the first place award at the Holmes Mile High Mai Tai competition. Now, I am subbing in a couple of things here because I don't have the exact ingredients, but I'll put the exact ingredients and brands of things in this episode's description. And, Vince, he must just know the way to my heart, because he calls for this Mai Tai to be made in the Hamilton Beach, which I love. So let's get started with 1 ounce of fresh lime juice, half an ounce of an orange liqueur, 3/4 ounces of orgeat, 1/8 an ounce of rock candy syrup. It's okay to just guesstimate here. 1 ounce of an overproof rum, 1/4 ounce of 151, 1/4 ounce of an aged rum agricole, and half an ounce of our Grand Arome rum. So there you go, the Molokai Mountain Mai Tai. All right, let's try it. It is so wild how just a half an ounce in this drink that has so many other things going on. We have an aged rum agricole in there. You have 151. You have an ounce of rum bar overproof. Yet still, the Holmes Grand Arome comes through in a half ounce proportion, but it's really opening up in a more pleasant way in a cocktail with lots of layers of sweetness. That sort of sweetness, the bell peppers, the cracked black pepper, the tomatoey thing going on, it's taking away a lot of that industrial, like overly savory quality of the rum and making something that is distinctly a Mai Tai and not stepping on all the other flavors of the cocktail. If you were to use an ounce of this, I think in anything, you're just going to overpower every other aspect that's inside of that cocktail. And I always talk about the daiquiri as being kind of the greatest delivery system for trying new rums. But in this case, it's something like this that it's not. You need other flavors in there that are kind of stronger flavors, using some type of orange liqueur that has a sugarcane base. Vince's recipe calls for the Hamilton Petite shrub, which I don't have, so I used the Clement Creole shrub, which is a little bit sweeter, has more of that grassy flavor to it. So this Mai Tai, very good. It's delicious. Something that if you have all these ingredients on hand, you should try. But I think the best compliment you can kind of give this cocktail is it allows you to taste this rum, because you got to kind of build up a lot of confidence, stamina, whatever you want to call it, to sip on this thing neat all the time. But if you want to keep going back to this rum, to try to understand it more, to really taste the nuances, the complexities without being overpowered by it, you need to put it in a cocktail. And there is really no better cocktail for this application than a Mai Tai. So big ups to Vince for creating this Mai Tai and winning first place. How about that? So that is it for this episode. If you enjoyed this video and you want to support this channel, go check out the Patreon page where there's more behind the scenes stuff. I just uploaded a video of me trying the high ester El Dorado in a Mai Tai and other stuff like that, behind the scenes stuff. Otherwise, just give this video a like below, comment if you want to, and subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, I guess I will see you on the next one.
Of your love.